guys, hello my beautiful Bayou bastards. Welcome to the first new episode of the Fake Nerds Watch. I'm Ryan Leopoulos, also known as Crud Man. This is Sparkz Witty, also known as Biolante. This is Ben Magnet, known as, let's see, Sonic Mania.
What the
I did not think this through, I'm sorry. But
I was thinking either you're going to call me the Floronic Man or...
Floronic Man, yeah, I could do that.
I don't know why I would be the Floronic Man, but I like how you called him Biolante.
Yeah, I was going for something and then I immediately dropped it because that's how I roll. I don't plan things. Welcome to the first episode of Swamp Thing.
You should have come up with any grass-type Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. Man, you could be Chikorita.
What?
Hell yeah! Chikorita!
Not Bulbasaur?
No, you could be Trico.
Or Turtwig?
No, I'm all about Gen 3, baby.
Like, Turtwig's the... Oh, okay. Fun fact, Turtwig's the only grass-type Pokemon I ever started out with in any of the Pokemon games I've ever
Is he the one he evolves with a giant tree on his back?
Yeah, he's Torterra.
That's pretty sweet.
Hey guys, this is
Welcome to Swamp Thing! Listen, we're talking about grass shit. We're reading the 420 Blazer. So yes.
This is the DC Universe exclusive
streaming
Swamp Thing
service
series.
Show. Yes.
Yeah.
They had Titans.
Yes.
They had Doom Patrol. And now they got Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
So I am a massive Swamp Thing fan. Massive. I got a shirt. I got the tattoo. I've been reading Swamp Thing since I was a kid. Many different types of comics, interpretations of the character. You guys are somewhat new to Swamp Thing, I would say. Like, he's around in the DC universe.
Yeah.
But because of me, I think you guys have read Swamp Thing comics.
Yes.
You have a more...
I think because of Brandon, I read Swamp Thing.
Oh, because of Scott Snyder?
Yeah, because...
New 52.
Back in 2011?
Yeah, around there.
Oh, yeah, so around 2011 when
wow,
DC...
oh my god, I'm getting old.
Oh my god. So, 8 years ago, when the DC's New 52 started, Swamp Thing was one of those characters that Brandon co-hosts on the Fake Nerd podcast for the three of us. He told me, he and I were in college, and he said, Ben, you should really start reading Swamp Thing. Now, I knew of Swamp Thing by name only, and I just thought it was just a lame swamp monster that was, like, super niche comics, because I was more about, like, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Justice League.
Sure.
I'll give Aquaman a shot. Yeah. But Swamp Thing, I was kind of on. I read Scott Snyder's run on Swamp Thing, and I loved it. Mm-hmm. I read, was it Charles Soule?
He took over after.
Yeah, I read Soule's run on Swamp Thing. Loved that. So now, when I start hearing more about Swamp Thing stuff, I'm like, give me more Swamp Thing.
Sure.
Swamp Thing's great. Don't sleep on the Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is awesome.
So I was gonna say it was a similar path for me because my friend Matt got me onto Animal Man by Jeff Lemire.
He got me on that too.
Run.
Oh, not Matt. Brandon did.
But so he got me onto Animal Man,
yeah.
and through Animal Man, I got onto the Scott Snyder Swamp
Rot
Thing
World.
of my
Rot
own
World.
because of Rot World.
Rot
yeah.
World.
And
Dude.
then it's the Alan Moore stuff that you really brought the Alan Moore
so
stuff.
quick
to
tip. If you wanna read like a really creepy story with Animal Man and Swamp Thing, look up DC's New 52 Rot World crossover.
We're gonna do a whole discussion on it someday. It's
Good,
coming.
because
And
that's
if you don't
great.
know who Animal Man is yet, just wait a couple years, he'll probably be on this service too.
Animal Man.
Yeah. So the first episode, the pilot, right off the bat, this is the show that I was the most scared of because not just because I love the source material, but the Alan Moore run, which they are taking many inspirations from, is a seminal piece of art. Like truly, it is one of the greatest comics ever made. That's just not my bias. That is, Alan Moore is one of the greatest writers of all time.
He is.
I didn't love Titans.
No, I didn't.
I didn't love Titans, but it was
good,
right? But the caliber of show that this needed to be, it needed to be high.
Yeah.
Just simply for the character and what he is. And I am happy to say this episode did not disappoint at all. At all. I was thoroughly impressed throughout, especially with the characterization of the regular characters, which, when you think of Swamp Thing comic, isn't really what you're there for.
Right.
Which makes this pilot so much better, I think, for the future, hopefully for the future of the show.
Yeah.
And Ben, our resident spooky boy, he loves horror movies. I'm curious what you had to think, because this is a horror television show. This is a spooky show.
It is.
And how did you feel about it?
I freaking loved it.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think when I was I said this before the show. I'll say it again here. That the reason why I say I don't like horror movies is that I didn't really like a whole lot of jump scares, but also I didn't like gore porn. Because back when I was growing up in the like my teen years in the early 2000s, a lot of horror films were just like copy paste from other ones. It's like there's a lot of blood, it's a lot of gore.
Saw,
it's
Hostel,
just,
a lot of those.
It's just like it's kind of like House of Wax. It's like kids lost in the woods. 2 of them have bless you. some of them are gonna get laid, and then they die.
See, the problem with that
there's
movie,
more death, and there's just blood and guts everywhere.
You came into like the weird time in horror movies. Is like what was happening in theaters, and so there was no good entry if you didn't go back to classics.
Yeah, that's like when we were watching the Halloween films.
Sure,
that's good.
Yeah,
even when I was watching Swamp Thing, there's some really good spooky stuff.
Right,
and it's bloody, but it's not super bloody.
Yeah,
but it's you fear for the characters. Like in that part where the first scene of the episode where these guys are out in the middle of the swamp at night and they're trying to drop these weird black boxes. We don't know why. We don't know why. And then you see the vines start creeping. You think, is that Swamp Thing? Are we getting a Swamp Thing right here now? And then the plants just literally they like Marc-a-do. They impale him through the boat, and it's creepy, and it's like, oh god.
And that's kind of the moment you go, oh, it's gonna be a good show.
So it's gonna be like this. It's like, okay, I'm into this. Let's go.
Upon reflection, upon like the first episode, it's a weird comparison, but the first scene reminded me of Logan, and in a way where. We knew it was going to be rated R, but we didn't know how violent it was going to be. So the first scene of Logan in the limo, where he's decapitating and he's ripping people's limbs off, and you're like, holy shit, this is rated R.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is what we're in for? That's how I felt with this first scene as well.
Yeah,
I was like, they are really going for it. There's a dude, he's really impaled, almost like Jesus, with like this spiraling tree monster.
That comes right up through that
And
boat.
the dude who comes out of the water, his face is all bloody because I think his eyes got gouged
out. Like scratched out by the encroaching vines.
Yeah.
I was going to say that, just to comment real quick on Ben's, like, it's not overly bloody or anything. A lot of the violence in this is the idea of the violence of it.
Yeah.
Because you'll come upon bodies that have already been
like
attacked by the vines.
Like later on in the episode when Abby and who was that, the cop guy?
Cable.
Matt Cable, thank you. When Abby and Abigail Arcane and Matt Cable come across that one dude's house, he's like a half vine, half human hybrid just staring out over the mirror.
Yeah.
And it is disgusting.
Yeah, he's
disgusting.
He's petrified with vines, and like he's dead. Like he looks like he's puking up like vines, and it's all around him. It's the imagery in the show is exactly what I wanted from Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
It's so spooky.
And it's practical.
Yes. And my favorite, depending on what day you ask me, Rosemary's Baby or The Thing are my favorite horror movies. And this day it was The Thing, because there is a straight homage to The Thing's practical effects with the creature, with that guy who comes back to life
in the morgue.
Which is
that scene is creepy in itself, because then you have Alec Holland. So Alec Holland comes into the picture.
Yeah.
And I know we're jumping all over the episode, but this was like a really good episode of Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Because I was also scared about, because I haven't seen the 1970s or 1980s.
Both. The movies. Yeah. It's all bad.
I haven't seen the Swamp Thing films.
James Cameron directed the first one.
Are you shitting me?
Yep, don't watch it.
Okay then.
Wes Craven did the other.
Don't watch it.
Oh no, boys.
Yeah. Great film directors.
Great film directors, not so good films. Oh well, everyone has to start somewhere. But I've never seen those films, and I don't plan to because of this guy telling me how bad they are.
They're fun, campy, but like Swamp Thing gives like a thumbs up.
They are not true to the nature of what Swamp Thing is.
The nature, I don't want a thumbs up Swamp Thing gif that I love to repost all the time.
They don't land in the green.
So yeah, you bring up Alec Holland. Yeah. Something that for me I was really conflicted on is like, it's called Swamp Thing. I want Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
The creature. But what the show gave me was a really interesting Alec Holland, which the comics don't really do, because it's not really about him. Scott Snyder's was a little bit, but he's still kind of just like a milquetoast white dude.
Yeah.
Whereas like this character, I'm like, wow, he's got a personality, and like I really like this character. So seeing him become Swamp Thing was actually tragic, and I'm like, I'm really curious how much of his name's Andy Bean, the guy who plays Alec Holland. I wonder how much Andy Bean is still in the show, because all the interviews and stuff sound like he's still in the show. So I'm curious what direction that's going to take. Because normally it's just Swamp Thing. Now is just Swamp Thing.
Yeah, I'm cutting to the, if I may, cutting to the very end of the episode. Yeah. We see Swamp Thing. Mm-hmm. Like we see him full costume. He looks freaking great.
He looks good.
I'm thinking that Andy Bean is in that costume.
It's definitely not.
It's definitely not.
Oh, it's Derek Mears who's played either Jason or Michael Myers. Like he's a prominent like stuntman. Okay. But like the casting, when we were talking about it on the Fake Nerd podcast, it was deliberate. Like a like 7-foot stuntman is playing Swamp Thing. Andy Bean is playing Alec Holland. Yeah. So there you go.
Maybe it's one of those things where he can like transform back and forth, sort of thing.
Not Swamp Thing I've ever read.
I don't think like it would ruin the tragedy of the character
Yeah.
if he's got the ability to.
I wonder if it'll be flashback stuff.
I imagine it's going to be flashbacks related to like Sunderland.
Yeah, definitely, probably. Yeah.
Will it still be Andy Bean's voice as Swamp Thing, or is it still going to be the guy in the suit's voice?
It's interesting because definitely he has a vocal
It
change.
probably will be Andy Bean's.
Yeah.
They'll probably have Andy Bean do the
It'll probably
voice.
be like a Venom situation where it's still like Eddie Brock sounds like Venom does. Yeah, I hope so.
Because I agree with you because you're right. I mean, the only time where Alec Holland actually was good, I would say, is in Scott Snyder's New 52 run,
And that's where he
he's
came back from the dead after Blackest Night as Alec Holland, the human being.
Yeah.
He was just a regular person.
Yeah, and even then he wasn't Swamp Thing. Like the book was called Swamp Thing, but he didn't turn into Swamp Thing until I want to say 4 issues in.
It was a while.
Yeah, it was quite
He
a
had to
while
earn it back, yeah.
until he finally became a swamp, and he finally became the Swamp Thing.
Problem of the Trees was like, you're okay in our book, buddy.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But you're right. I was kind of hoping to see more Alec Holland. I don't know, because you're right. I did really enjoy this Alec Holland. I enjoyed him a lot.
He has
I
a
actually
great-
It's unexpected. Like, I didn't expect him to be so good, and so, like, I know he's
Yeah.
the main character, but it's about Swamp Thing, so it's
And
interesting
this-
how fast it's
Right.
Swamp Thing.
And the second he gets shot by that one dude, which I'm betting money it's Anton Arcane.
No.
It's not.
No. You had a better theory, I think. Woodrue.
Yeah.
Jason Woodrue, the
Yeah,
Floronic
I think
Man.
it's the Floronic Man.
Because that character is in this show, or excuse me, he is in the show. Like
That's right.
I know the actor playing him. Well, we'll see it. They've already released a clip with the character.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but the story of Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, the Anatomy Lesson, and what the show is doing, it's very different but very similar at the same time. And that's why I love the show, because it adds this new mystery where Alec Holland was originally working on this formula to help plants grow. But in the show, it's happening already,
Right.
And it's not
Yeah.
Alec's, and somehow Alec might be
Like-
tied to it though.
Right.
Well, also people are getting sick.
Yes,
People get the whole thing is because Abby works for the CDC.
yes.
And
Who is the main character of the show, which we haven't talked about yet? But
she is.
She's astoundingly good.
And I am totally fine with it. I freaking love it. I love how, and also I like how she goes back to her hometown of Murray, Louisiana, and she's like, I really don't want to be here, but okay.
Skeletons in the closet.
A lot of skeletons in the closet. We get a glimpse of a skeleton near the end of the episode, but
Actually, we get a glimpse of it when she's driving into
yeah,
town,
exactly.
which is at the bridge.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
And she sees the like memory of the two girls.
that's right. I forgot about that.
Then
yeah.
we get the scene with Mrs. Sunderland in
Yeah.
the bar, which is probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
It was
in the
super
whole
tense. It was very
episode,
tense.
because Crystal Reed is just selling the pain in
Yeah.
that scene.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've
It was
never
really
I've
good.
never seen anything Krista Reed did or has done since.
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf. But she's like, man, she's really good. Everyone
good.
everyone in the show is really good.
They are.
Like every aspect of the show is firing at all cylinders. And it was directed by Len Wiseman, who did the Underworld movies. He had some part in Stranger Things. Like he's a prominent like now TV director, but also film director. But he got the tone perfect, man.
Yeah,
like
he did.
I'm surprised how much I love this, because I was so ready for it to be bad.
Right.
And this like I said, since I first seen, I'm like, oh yeah, baby.
I
Oh, yeah.
was scared. I was scared because I did not want the show to be bad. I didn't want it to hurt you, and I was totally on board with bringing a big Swamp Thing, bringing Swamp Thing to TV. A few years ago, when I was on a different show, I was at Long Beach Comic Con, and I actually got to talk to Len Wein.
Len Wein? Mhm.
Yeah, Len
Yeah.
Wein, Scott Liddell, a whole bunch of comic creators were there talking about their stuff, and I asked him, I was like, how would you guys feel if the characters you create or you've written, they take your runs and put them on like as a Netflix show? And Len Wein was like, hey, that'd be pretty cool. Probably not going to do it,
Yeah.
but I would really enjoy that.
That's true.
And sadly,
Yeah.
and this was a few years before Len Wein passed away, and now that he's gone, I'm bummed because I really think he loved this.
Yeah, it is a perfect like amalgamation of all the different runs, which is something I'll talk about later. Like where we think the show will go, because there's so many inspirations. But
Sure.
like, man, like, yeah, if Len Wein got to see what because like he saw what happened in the 70s and 80s, like, you know, those are products of their time. Like they're silly and campy, but like this is like what I think he wanted to, like what he felt he was writing, like brought to life. And I'm like, man, to see your vision come to life is so amazing, especially with such a in-depth and hard character like Swamp Thing. Like, it's a shame he can't see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job with the establishment of the relationship between Abby and Alec.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
it does make you wish that there could have been more. Alex's introduction in general in the hospital just comes around, and he's just standing there in shorts and flip-flops, and it's like...
He's definitely not from around here.
No, yeah.
And he just walks in like he owns a place, and he's like looking at a clipboard with like all the people in the hospital.
The blood test,
and she's like, "You can't take that." He's like, "I'm not going to. I'm just like gonna look at it and then like take that."
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna do it anyway, whatever. And like this is an aspect of the character that's new. Like he's like a rogue scientist. Like he's doing his own thing instead of like being like, "I'm working for the government." He's doing like weird tests in the bayou for Sunderland, which is from the Alan Moore run Sunderland, the evil organization, which is a little more evil organization. I feel like in this show, like they're kind of pointing more like, oh, they're doing some crazy stuff at Sunderland. Did you feel that way?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time getting a read on Sunderland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Will Patton plays Sunderland.
I don't think they're going to make him as
straight
black
evil?
And white as he was in Alan Moore's comic.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case, just based on what they're doing.
And Virginia Madsen plays Miss Sunderland, and she's a new thing. She's not really from the comic.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. She has apparently a
really... That's another reason why I feel like the Sunderlands are kind of going to be more like a family you can kind of understand. They're going to go very. They're gonna go very kind of Fisk and Vanessa, where like they're not good people.
Yeah, but you can see
reasons. But you can see the good. The good aspects of them. They're not going to be just mustache twirlers.
I'm glad you said that because I kind of did get some Wilson Fisk vibes from Sunderland when we were watching the episode.
Well,
but not like I'm gonna stay in the closet. I'm gonna stay in the closet. That's a bad thing. I'm gonna stay in the shadows. I'm gonna be quiet. Okay, now I'm gonna show it. He's like, now I've been in Murray. I love his southern drawl.
Oh, dude, he might as well have like a peach tea and a cowboy hat. He's like, I lived here my whole life. You guys love me. You know I support this city.
I could have left a long time ago, but Murray's home.
I love that. He's so fun.
It's weird because I'm watching that scene and I'm thinking, you're still the bad guy.
Yeah.
But I like how you're playing him like a violin.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
My theory right now is that Sunderland had already hired Woodrue at one point.
Yeah.
And Woodrue went rogue. And Sunderland brought in Alec to find out what Woodrue did.
I agree. I like that, yeah.
I think that's what the connection is, and that's why at a certain point, Sunderland didn't want Holland still there, because Holland was getting too close to finding out he was
finding out the truth. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's interesting because Alec has kind of taken the Jason Woodrue role from the comics, where Sunderland asked Woodrue to perform all these tests about Swamp Thing.
Right.
Which is a really cool take. And I'm curious to see what they do with Woodrue and if he does become the Floronic Man and have a cool, awesome Swamp Thing battle. We'll see. We haven't talked about Abby again very much, but I do think she is really strong, and she is, in a weird way, she has the most to do in this episode, and she has a lot of exposition, which I do think hurts a little because she is given the brunt of the talking, which again, she's such a good actress, like, I'm okay with it, but like, they could have spread out some of the dialogue, I think.
They give us enough of, like, yes, she has a lot of exposition, but we at least get a lot of good character moments with her, like when she's in Alec's place and telling him about what happened with her and the girl, or moments at the bar, but like she still gets to bounce around and be a character and have her light moments with Alec.
Like she Googles Alec Holland's name and finds out like he fraud. What did he do?
He lied about.
He created fraud results.
Yes.
For his research.
Yeah, and he did it with the best intentions because like he's somebody like I want to change the world, but like I was doing it through the wrong way. Like I thought being famous was the way to do it, but he's like now I'm just a rogue scientist and I'm just doing it to help people.
Right.
And he has a really strong, like I think that moment's really strong between them. And then like when he's leaving and he's like, hey, why'd you Google me? And she's like, oh, these inquiries.
Your search returned no results.
And he's like, that's pretty good, girl. You're funny. That's why I was kind of hoping for more Alec Holland. So I'm really curious to see if he does stick around. Because it's weird to have, like, I'm used to it because it's been around forever, but like Swamp Thing and Abby banging is a weird thing. He's a plant. It's weird. So you need to dive your audience into it slowly, I think, instead of just straight Swamp Thing penetration, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry to get gross, but I'm like, are they just going hard like Vision and Wanda? Are they just going to go hard and go, no, she's going to fall in love with the plant and you're going to deal with it? I'm like, I kind of hope they do, because that's
probably over the course of the season.
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm kind of happy. It's a weird, I'm glad they're doing that.
Like,
I'm glad they're not waiting to the season finale for Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
basically.
Maybe throughout the season, because Alec Holland turns to Swamp Thing at the very end of the episode. and I'm okay with that because the show is called Swamp Thing. I kind of would have, to be honest, I would have felt like a little blue-balled if we got to the season finale of the show 10 episodes later, and now we just suddenly get Swamp Thing. It's like, you should call it's one of those things where like you have the show called Swamp Thing, but there's no Swamp Thing. What the hell?
Right. I genuinely would have sat there. I was sitting watching the episode, and I'm like, is this episode going to end and he not be Swamp Thing?
Yeah.
That'd be bold.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that I'm against it. I could have understood
because we still don't know what those plans
fine.
were or were not Swamp Thing. That was a good part of the mystery. I mean, us being comic book readers, we know Alec Holland becomes Swamp Thing no matter what.
Do you mean
but seeing the vines like encroach in the very first scene, or the vines continue to encroach?
Do you mean Swamp Thing or like the Green?
I was thinking like the Green Swamp Thing, or I was just thinking it could have been something.
So let's bring that up.
Because they aren't Swamp Thing. Like
Swamp Thing is the individual person,
right.
but like the Green is the elemental force.
Because that can't be him at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right. Or it was like Swamp Thing like controlling the vines.
Well, he's not
Swamp Thing yet.
So that's why I think it's just the Green reacting to people around it.
Well, it's the stuff. It's the same stuff that's been like. It's the stuff that's being thrown into the swamp.
It's the
and
botanical regeneration thing that makes the stuff grow.
Because what does happen is that it's coming after Abby at the end, and Alec makes it go away.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he gains control.
But up to that point, it's out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it could. Because didn't we hear rumblings that they were going to introduce the Parliament of Trees in the show?
Yes, there were behind the scenes shots of like a swamp set with a bunch of trees with faces, and they say they got cut. And that bums me out a lot, because this is a good time to talk about it. The original Swamp Thing is Alec Holland gets turned into a swamp man, and he's a swamp man. Alan Moore's run, Alec Holland dies, and a plant gains his consciousness. And he is just a plant, and Alec Holland is gone, and he's dead, and he represents the Green now. And then Scott Snyder's run, Alec Holland is Swamp Thing created by the Parliament of Trees. He doesn't die or anything. He is chosen to be their representative, like
the Avatar of the Green.
Like the Avatar, yeah. He is literally chosen like destiny. This now seems like it's going the Len Wein route, now knowing that the Parliament of Trees is not in this show. And that bums me out, because that is an entire world, like with Animal Man and stuff, with the Green and the Rot, that might not be in the show at all.
Well, I mean, but that's a scene that was cut. It doesn't mean that hopefully the show going past this season.
It could be
It doesn't mean that it's something that won't happen down the road.
And again, just like, Len Wein's original run, and then Alan Moore did stuff more, maybe season 1 is Len Wein's, and then season 2 will be more the Green stuff.
Oh, well, I think they have also kind of leaned towards the Alan Moore stuff, just because we've already seen the, I know it's not probably going to show up exactly in the show. It's just a recreation of the cover, but we've seen the image of Swamp Thing holding Alec's dead body.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we're still kind of going to lean with that direction, because my interpretation of what happens to Alec at the end is that the plants kind of take his consciousness out of his body.
So he
is Alec, but he isn't Alec's body.
Like, you see the plants go straight to his brain.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was really hoping they were going to go the elemental, the Green route.
Yeah. Where
we hear a voice of, like, the Parliament of Trees saying, "We choose you, Alec Holland."
I'm glad they didn't do that.
At the same time, I am.
I think that's something that's like a later on thing, because having it be very like realistic and then introduce this surreal magic.
I think the tone of the episode leading up to it would have felt, to people who aren't familiar, violated.
Too much.
Yeah. If there had just suddenly been a voice, it would have been like, it would have felt hokey.
Yeah.
In a way, in comparison to like the grim story that we'd followed, the tragedy of what's happening to Alec, and then it's like,
very small.
Alec, you are the chosen, and it's like, oh man, this just hard turn.
Hard turn.
And that's the thing. That's the thing about Swamp Thing. Yeah, like the story starts like a very small scale, and then it eventually turns into, he's the defender of all of nature.
Right.
And that's a point where I'd like the show to go, but right now I really like that it's small scale horror mystery.
I think that's exactly what it should do. Is that it should stay confined and grow over time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
like all the best plants.
Yes. Like all the best plants. There you go. So I would highly recommend the show. Like, if you're looking for something spooky, like, you don't even have to care about the DC universe, because it's not really tied to it. It's just an awesome show with a great mystery, really great special effects, like truly great practical special effects, something you don't get to see often, especially in television.
No.
Something this grotesque is like, I was freaking out how much I loved it.
Sorry, but they're really like, one of the things I want to talk about was the special effects and the puppetry during the morgue scene.
That's so good.
During your thing,
it's disgusting.
Where it's like stuff, and like half of his body's just going.
Half his body like falls off, and it's just like shaking.
That is terrifying.
It's great.
That is legit scary.
Yeah.
That is stuff I was like, this is good.
Yeah.
do more of this.
And I have a feeling it's going to. Like, I think
because that was just a pilot.
That was just a pilot. And what's great, people who know about television, like the pilot sets like the tone for the entire show. And if this is what we're gonna get the whole show, if you don't know, there were some production problems. The show got cut from 13 episodes to 10. Some of the actors weren't happy about it. But like, if this is where the show starts, it's a fantastic start. Like the best thing on the DC app, I think. Like, Doom Patrol's good. But, like, this is, like...
We haven't watched all of Doom Patrol, so we can't weigh in too
If I'm more
hard on
pilot
that.
to pilot, I thought this was, like, a perfect pilot. Like, I have no issues at all. Like, it's perfect. I loved it. I'm also biased, but I just think it's a well-made television show.
I think this and Doom Patrol, pilot-wise, were both excellent.
Yeah.
I think that they're just, like, cream of the crop, like...
And complete opposites of the spectrum. Like, super goofy and super serious. Like, they got it both, baby. It's great.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing are good pairings.
Yeah, I'm not trying to downplay Doom Patrol. I think it's amazing.
100%. Yeah. Yes, these shows, between watching some of Doom Patrol that we have and Swamp Thing, these are the shows I wanted out of the DC universe that Titans was not giving me when it started, where I'm like, this is like a step up from the CW shows, but it's not a big enough jump.
Yeah.
This is not on Daredevil, Jessica Jones at its best caliber.
Yes.
But Swamp Thing and Doom Patrol,
now it is.
They are.
Yeah. And I really hope, because like I don't know how well the app's doing, the DC Universe app, but I really hope people check this out because that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Don't cancel any more shows, please.
I feel like if you're a person who has it, you're watching.
You owe it
this.
to
Like, I don't know why you
it.
wouldn't be watching this. But if you haven't gotten the app, like, and you've been on the fence about it, there are some good offerings. It's worth getting. Like, get a couple of months. Check out Doom Patrol. Check out Swamp Thing.
Read some comics.
Yeah.
Read some comics.
I got 20,000 comics now.
A lot of Swamp Thing comics to help promote for the show, so you can easily read some of the material and watch the show. I don't think we're gonna. You brought up Arcane.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna see him this season.
I think
he'll be something for the second season. I think we're gonna focus on Floronic Man and Sunderland, perhaps one other thing, but I don't think it'll be Arcane.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's like almost like not a Thanos level because he's intergalactic, but like a Thanos in the background, like he somehow is involved, and like we won't really know Emperor, like Star Wars Emperor, until maybe season 2.
Yeah.
But like, you have Abby Arcane, like they're silly not to have his greatest villain. But like, I don't want them to start with the greatest villain.
No, I don't think we'll see him this season. We might get teased up about him, but I don't think we'll see him.
I'm just thinking of like, I mean, you guys read it like here's say uncle. Like, if you know what that means for Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, it's like one of the most disgusting, horrific, awesome things in comics. And I'm like, they set it up with the characters in this first episode, so like it's there, and I'm like, if they pay it off, you guys are not going to be ready, man. It's so gross. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Do you think they'll explore the relationship between Abby and Matt much?
Yes. Now that Alec is gone, I think it'll be like not so much a love triangle, but like she will begin to understand Swamp Thing more and more, and then like him, whereas Matt is an actual human where she can easily connect to.
Right. Yeah. I think she'll probably connect with him pretty well, but she'll also find some. I suspect she'll find something pretty seedy about Matt.
Yeah.
Well before things get very far along, and that's going to divert her towards Alec.
I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, also, if he is seedy, I wouldn't be surprised if that somehow also goes into Anton Arcane.
No, I wouldn't either. That's why I was thinking, like, I think Matt Cable will be set up for Anton.
Yeah, I was about to say, the more I think about it, you're right, Jason Woodrow and having the Floronic Man in the first season makes a lot more sense than just throwing out Anton Arcane and the Raw out.
Because Jason Woodrow is very much like Alec Holland, but like a bad version.
Yeah.
It's like Spider-Man Venom. Like, he's a bad Swamp Thing.
Yeah. I was going to say, when they come upon, like, the death scenes of people who have been attacked by the vines and everything, it reminded me a lot of Brian Fuller's Hannibal when they would come upon a crime scene.
Oh, yeah, the intricate, like, like snakes and stomach.
Yeah,
and, like, the
using the
head.
practical effects of it and everything.
It's
I
very
was like,
cool.
this is really, really the way that I want them to be.
Hey, guys, watch Hannibal if you haven't. It's great.
Yeah, Brian Fuller's Hannibal is still fantastic.
Yeah.
I think basically for people who aren't super familiar, like, this is a really good jumping in point for Swamp Thing.
Yeah, honestly,
there's something super solid here.
It's a perfect entry point that will definitely entice you to want to read more, I think. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we also get a cameo by Madame Xanadu, too.
You do, and she's
God, I forgot all about that.
She looks super different and super cool.
Wow.
It's like an old gypsy lady. Like, I'm ready for it.
Like, the second Abby said, oh, that's Madame Xanadu, I'm like, wait, I've heard that name before.
Yeah.
What?
Justice League Dark. Yeah. She's a cool character. I'm really excited to see, because this does take place in the DC universe.
It
and
does.
like in the comics, he hangs out with Superman and stuff. It's just not what the story is normally focused on. So I'm really curious to see what they do.
I mean, we all know the number one character that we want to see them
Poison Ivy
bring over to Swamp Thing.
Who?
Constantine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man, if Matt Ryan shows up on this, like
Matt Ryan wants to, so like the only thing stopping them is them.
Yeah, I definitely think like we need to see where the show goes. I think it's a little too early to start bringing magic.
Oh, for sure, like not this season, but next season.
When they bring in Anton Arcane, that's when you can bring in
exactly.
Constantine.
That's what I'm saying. Like Matt Ryan's not in this season. We already know that. But if there is another season, it'd be great to see Matt Ryan come over.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
I'm into that.
Yeah. So I think that'll be it for this episode of the Crud Boys.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is like a super solid show. You should really check it out.
Yeah.
It's
Can't wait for episode 2.
Worth it.
Yeah. And again, like as like Swamp Thing is my favorite like property of all time. Like, woo! Thank you. Thanks guys. Thanks Len.
Bullet dodged, right?
Yeah. Bullet dodged. At least for now.
Yeah.
Oof.
Solid acting, solid direction. Yeah. Great practical effects.
Effects.
Really gets a good vibe.
Would recommend. Mm-hmm. So I'm Ryan Leopoulos. You can find us at the Fake Nerd Podcast.
Just to tie into our old Game of Thrones Fake Nerds watch, this is how you do a show that's set in the dark, but you can actually see it all.
Oh.
Hey-o. Damn! Boom!
There, Night's Watch is ended.
Roasted!
All right. We are part of the Fake Nerd Podcast. We're here on YouTube. Our podcast can be found anywhere you can find podcasts.
Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, all of the places.
Check it all out. We host that with our friend Brandon McClure. And we recently did our Godzilla King of the Monsters review. Our 3-year anniversary episode's coming up soon.
Oh, 3 years.
Yeah. So all that good stuff on YouTube. You guys do Basement Arcade.
Basement Arcade, new episodes every week.
Playing through Shadow of the Colossus. We also have a Hitman 2 special drop this week.
Yeah.
Who's the boy? It's Sean Bean. Spoilers.
And
that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Great.
So check us out. Like, review, favorite, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Smash the like button.
I'm Ben Magnet. You can find me on the internet and Instagram and Twitter at BenMagnet27.
And you're
Ryan Leopoulos, DJ Tony Snark, everywhere. Just type in DJ Tony Snark.
Even on PlayStation Network. So if you go on PlayStation, you go up DJ.
That's smart.
Try and challenge him to Mortal Kombat 11. I haven't done it yet, but apparently this guy's gotten good. Don't do it.
I will Shao Kahn wreck you.
Oh.
And I'm Sparkz Witty. You can find me at Sparkz Witty on Instagram. And the Fake Nerd Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. So, thank you. We'll see you next week for more Fake Nerds Watch on Swamp Thing.
Bye. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.